All right, we are about to start canning. What's going on, everybody? See if I got this figured out just right. It says we're live. All right. So we got a bunch of carrots going on here today. This is what I have now. So this is leftover, so I'll probably use these for cooking and stuff like that. But since I kind of foobarred it, I'm gonna be canning these baby carrots today. And I just took some of the smaller carrots and cut them up and made some baby carrots. Hey, Batavia. So it's a little bit of a process canning carrots, I'll say that much. See if I can get this thing to work right. So, what's everybody doing in their garden? I got jars sterilizing. I got water pre-boiling here for the canning. And then I gotta hot pack the carrots. So I'm gonna hot pack those. So I'm gonna start boiling the water, and then basically I just cover them with boiling water and go for it. So, yeah. I'll show you the scraps. So when I say I did the small carrots, I mean I legit did the small carrots, and I just cut the tails off of them and the butts off of them. Nobody wants to eat that anyways, really, so it kind of makes it more prettier when you are canning. But we've got the pot, sterilization, and then hot pack water in the back. So in other words, there's a lot going on. So see, there's some people on here. What are you guys growing in your gardens while we wait for the water? So this is basically a time for me just to kind of hang out with you guys, talk, and ask questions as needed. Truth moment, I think tomorrow, the video about these carrots is coming out. And unfortunately, I said, hey, I'm going to be doing this canning, and I'll come on live and do it. Well, I didn't think in my head how I do the videos in advance, and I can't wait but so long before this stuff goes bad. So that's how we do it. Yeah, Batavia, there is very little waste. I'm trying to be as thrifty as possible with our carrots. So this is going to be the last of the carrots for the year. Excuse me, for the season, not the year. David's carrots germinated in 3 or 4 days. So they're actively germinating now. So that's good. Not taking a long time like in the fall. In the fall they take like 21 days or something stupid like that. It's ridiculous. So, and this kicks off the canning for the year. So hopefully next we'll be canning, I would imagine we'll be canning tomatoes in a couple weeks. I hope to do some peppers, maybe, just maybe some taters. I don't know if I'm gonna do them or not. Has anybody canned potatoes? I know Be Better Garden, or Batavia, has told me that she plans on canning tomatoes in the future, or potatoes in the future. So kind of hoping that'll work out pretty well for her and I can kind of follow suit. But yeah, we're still a ways off from our green beans too. We're gonna be probably about a month before we start canning green beans. But once those go, we'll be canning right regular. So it kind of kicks it off, and I like to do those in like big batches like this, where it's just kind of all done. So if anybody has not canned before, real quick, sterilize the jars. So I boil them for 10 minutes with the lids, just the tops. Then I pull them out, and at this point everything has to be sterile so I don't stick my hands inside of the jars or anything. I have my canning tools, which we'll see in a minute, that I use. So I'll do that. I gotta add these carrots. Ooh, boy, that steam is hot, son. So this kind of right here kicks off the sterilization process. What a nightmare. And so one thing I do always when I'm canning is I keep a pot of water boiling, because like at this moment you can see I'm out of water. They need to be covered, so I can add the boiling water to it, and then I don't really waste any time. So that's what the kettle's for. What up, Frosty Lone Wolf? Welcome. I'm canning carrots, as I'm sure you know from the title. That's gonna make a huge mess, but that's okay. And so before anybody asks, let me get this out of the way now. I do not reuse the tops to my cans, ever. I know that they make them so they are supposedly reusable, and I still won't use them just because I'm old school like that. And as far as times and stuff go, I don't memorize any of it ever. I got enough crap in my head to go around, so I refer to my manual every single time I can. So for the carrots, boiling water, bring to a boil, 5 minutes, and then hot pack them in a clean jar. And then I'm gonna process them at 11 pounds of pressure for 25 minutes. So that timer tells me that my jars are now sterilized, and I'm just gonna let them sit there. So yep, 25 minutes. So as you can see, it gets kind of boring. So if you guys are just coming in right now, let us know what you're doing in your gardens, and if you plan to can anything, since that's what I'm doing, and if you've canned anything, or frozen, or dried, whatever. There's a little bit of delay in the chat, so I'll try and get to you guys as soon as I can. I tried to eliminate that, but it didn't work out in my favor. Never does when I go live. Every time I go live, it never ever works out perfectly. Batavia canned store-bought potatoes last year. So Batavia, did they taste like canned potatoes that you get from the store, or are they better? That's my question, because you know sometimes they get like a tinny taste. You use manuals to wash out your humidifier? No, not me. Not me. I can't remember. Or you use them to follow to wash it. Which one? Maybe I read it wrong. It would be funny if you were just like ripping out the pages and like washing the humidifier out. I tried to get this stuff so it was like action packed right away, but it didn't work out. And so when I go to hot pack too, you'll see in a minute, if I don't have enough water in the carrots, I'll use the water from the sterilization process because I pre-washed the jars so there shouldn't be any junk floating in it. How have you never had store-bought canned carrots? Or potatoes. See, I can't even get my words straight. How am I gonna remember the times for all this stuff? Okay, you use it to follow, yeah. Good call. Sorry. It was funny though, you should have just stuck with that for the comedic purposes. Ooh, you put herbs in it, huh? That sounds good. So I'll show you the tools that I use. Somehow I keep collecting boxes of them, but I just get like a canning set. There's a link below to the Amazon store if you guys need direction, but it comes with everything you need. I don't even use all of them. Like, it comes with these tongs here. I've never used these, ever. I don't know, I just haven't. I guess maybe I'm not doing something right, but I definitely use the lid tightener, the jar grabber, the funnel. This is clutch. This is a must-have. The lid picker upper, it's got a magnet on it so you can pick it up. And then this will pick out all the air and stuff. So you don't want a lot of air bubbles forming inside, so we'll use that to kind of get in and work all that stuff out. And then one thing I did do, so I'll tell you this, I used to use these like this. I mean, this is like hard plastic right here, and this is like soft rubber. And I figured after I used them for a long time, and finally we broke them, and I was like, man, this is kind of stupid. Like, what's the deal? Well, I was using them upside down. So this is the side you use to grab the jar, and it's pretty easy. It's a great tool to have. And they don't have to sit in the boiling water. You just don't want to get them all gunky. But yeah, isn't this thing great? I don't know how you would can. I mean, I know how you can. You get burnt. Frosty Lone Wolf's cucumber plants look sickly after transplanting, and one of my watermelons ain't gonna make it after transplanting. Uh-oh. What happened? So we're gonna do 4 jars to start. Hopefully that's all I need. I kind of have plans for these other carrots. So for these here, I was just going to use these to cook and snack on. If you've never taken a carrot and dipped it in hot mustard, you're missing out on life. So I'm going to try and use that, but if I have too many today, or I need more jars for the baby carrots in the back, then what I'll do is I'll probably just turn around and chop them up and make sliced carrots. I've never canned carrots, baby carrots like this, so I don't know how that's going to work out. But it should, I don't know, I don't think it'll be a problem. I mean, the biggest thing for me, it's kind of like cooking, you know, you want to keep everything in the same similar size so it cooks normally. Actually, I haven't used this yet this year, so I'm gonna rinse it out. And I always inspect this rubber seal. Make sure there's no cracks or anything in it. And there's not, thankfully. Yeah, if you transplant those too soon, I'm sure that they will kind of have an issue growing. I know that started some pumpkin seeds you'll see in an upcoming video, and they're not doing well at all. So I think I'm gonna resow them. I think what happened was I sowed them, and probably what happened to you, I don't know where you live, but you know, we had a very cool spring, and so these things kind of caught up, and it just, you know, as we started them, it was just cool weather, and then it'd get warm, and then it'd be really cool again, and I think it just caused it to, I don't know, it just stunted it completely. I mean, I've been waiting and waiting, and I know the life cycle of a plant will go something like, it'll shoot up and it'll stop, and what it's doing is building the roots underneath. So I tend to leave them, but if I don't, and if they don't do anything, then I need to just go ahead and pull them and replant, because I mean, you still got time to stick some seeds in the ground. They'll germinate in no time. So that should work out pretty good. Hopefully, at least hopefully for me it will. Now the tops, I'll use the jar grabber and show you. Just take it and dip it in, and then it picks it up. But I don't take them out of the water until after everything is ready to go, because I mean, there's no point in risking it, because if you touch the bottom of it, you'll introduce bacteria, and then you can get like botulism and stuff like that. And when you're canning foods, if you've never canned before, if you're watching this at a later date, canning food, you cannot smell or see botulism at all, and it can kill you. So you just want to be very careful with that. Makes canning a very nerve-wracking process. So in 3 minutes, we're gonna start canning Zone 4B. When's your first frost date? I was trying to think, because, or do you have something else to put in its spot? I guess that's the better question. I mean, I'd hate for you to have a gap in your garden. This mic situation is not working out well for me today. Oh, dude, if it's October, I bet you could get a watermelon going. You got July, August, and September. You could probably get a watermelon by mid-September, I bet. You would start to get some pretty good watermelon. I just look for a fast-growing variety. I mean, that's the thing I've been trying out this year, is doing like different varieties for what we need, like speed-wise and stuff like that. Okay. Let's start this process. Get you so you can see the action here. Hopefully y'all can see that. So this is a hot pack, which means I'm putting boiling water in with the carrots. Uh-oh. We might need some more jars. Yeah, I think we're gonna need some more jars, ladies and gentlemen. Might need a new stove too if I keep throwing water all over it. Jeez. That's one jar. You'd be surprised too. Some stuff that that grows in the summertime, you might actually be able to grow them. Like they might like some cooler weather too. What zone is everybody in? I know we've got a 6, we've got a 4B, I believe. And if you guys got any questions at any point, I mean, feel free to ask. I think everybody should give a shot at canning at some point in their lives. It's a very rewarding experience. Yeah, mid-50s, you should be good if you plan on like this week. Unless you want to put something in the fall there, I mean, you know, it kind of is what it is at that point. Sorry, I'm not talking too much right now. I got to concentrate. Apparently, I underestimated what I was doing, so we are going to sterilize a couple more jars here. I might have to do a second batch though, because I don't feel like waiting around all day. Take this guy out. All right, so here's the situation here. You pack them, and then I like to leave about this much headspace here from the all the way down to the rim. They say an inch. We'll just kind of guess as best you can. And then what we'll do is we'll come over here and just kind of work it through. This one, these don't get too airy, so it's not that bad. And now, time for the tops. All right, we need to sterilize a couple more jars. Okay, now we got a few minutes. Let's see what you guys. All right, any questions, concerns? Anything? Oh. Okay, I don't know, my camera just said I lost connection. Can you guys let me know if you see me? Let me know if you can see me because my camera is just fussing at me. Sweet. All right, so this is the lid tightener. And so right now, because this is a hot pack, if you touch this jar, it will burn the crap out of you. So we just grab it. And then you just want to snug it down. Nothing crazy. You don't have to wrench it down. It's not a car engine. Now that it is ready to get in, we just pick it up, set that bad boy in there. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and finish the rest of them and get them in, start the timer for this. Now you can, the metal bands, you can reuse those. So we reuse them until they start to get super rusty, and then we'll stop using them. There you go. So once it stops, I just give it a little snugging turn. Because you want to be able to let some of the pressure burp out as it cans. I know it seems kind of crazy. But the way it works, hold on, let me get this done, is once you get it on there, or get it into the canner and it starts boiling, it gets really, really hot inside of the can and the pressure will build up. So what you want to do is let that, you don't want to put it in so tight that it locks the pressure in, because you're naturally going to have some fluid leak out of it. And that's okay. It's better to have that than have the jar explode on you. Yeah, I can fit. I think this will hold like 10 jars. Yeah, so Frosty Wolf, I know what you're talking about. A lot of my garden, I don't know, I mean, obviously everybody's space is different, but we will go, our tomatoes, for instance, one of them gets about 5 hours of direct sun, but it also gets filtered sun from within the actual, from the trees and stuff, and they are, this year, I was kind of worried about them, but they're producing and they're nice and flush and full of tomatoes, so it's not that big of an issue. It's just something you got to kind of try out, and I was prepared this year to plant them there and just say, if they didn't do any good, like, nope, we're gonna move on, we're not gonna plant. Now granted, I'll probably get more tomatoes off of them if I put them in more sun, but the fact that I can use that space really works out for me. So I like that aspect of it. So we'll keep these going just a little bit. 2 more jars. And so just in case the live cuts out, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna put the top on, and then I leave the vent off, and you wanna vent all the steam out until it stops rumbling, jumbling and stuff like that. Give it about 10 minutes to let the steam come out, and hopefully I'll be able to, I should be able to. And once that comes out, then you can put the top on the weight, which is this. And this weight right here, what its job is to do is it rocks, it lets the pressure out. Like if it gets too high, you'll see it start to rock. So one year we dropped the top of our canner and it broke the gauge. And so every time I was canning, it would just sit there and rock a lot. And I called the manufacturer and talked to them. And they said, in fact, that what was going on was it was over pressurized and it was releasing the pressure so it didn't blow. Because I mean, you know, you don't want it to blow up. But there's also another safety plug on the canner itself, which will release at the same time, if it has to, but I never had that happen. Hey man, if you know what's gonna grow in your garden, you're an expert in your garden. You know what I mean? I mean, I can't imagine growing in zone 4B. It's gotta be tough, but I bet you can have some really good crops for some times of the year. So I was talking to young Batavia here, Miss Batavia, a couple years ago, and I was telling her, like, cause she stays so cool for so long, just like when I lived in New England, man, you get some banger spring gardens, and the spring gardens would last all the way through the summer pretty much, and then into the fall. So people just grew differently in different areas. You know, it's like in Florida, they grow fruit trees and mango trees and stuff. Like, I can't do that. I can grow some fruit trees, but I can't grow the ones that I want. That's clear as day. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna turn the heat back on here so I can keep it warm, and then add the boiling water. From the kettle. Just to top it off. I keep all my metal lids in a paper bag. No waste. I need to standardize my jars though. That would be a really good idea. So see, like this jar right here, this lid, see how it's kind of rusty? I'm on the fence. Actually, I probably will not use this year. I'm just gonna toss it, because once it gets out of there, it's just gonna rust even more, and then it just gets hard to take off. Nice and clean. Okay. All right, let's see, we got a couple new people. What are you guys doing in your gardens? Or what's your favorite crop to grow right now? In this season, what's your favorite crop? Let me know. And tomatoes don't count. I just saw Be Better Garden roll her eyes. My favorite crop right now, that's probably gonna be a sweet potato. Only problem is I gotta wait a long time. Do tomatoes lose flavor if not enough sun? So you're gonna have to ask somebody else, because I actually don't eat fresh tomatoes. I only like them canned or processed. So I can't answer that question, but hopefully other people can answer that. I grow a lot of tomatoes, but I really don't like to eat them fresh at all. So I would imagine that they don't though. I mean, because I know mine don't. My wife says they're good. They don't get as much sun as they're supposed to technically. So I think that they're probably pretty good. But I don't know, what do you guys think? I mean, there's some people in here. Yeah, I was pretty happy with my potato harvest this year. I'm hoping next year to expand upon that a little bit, but I could go for, see, we got 30 pounds this year roughly. I could go for about 45 next year. Here, I'll show you how I'm curing them too. They're in the final stage of curing right now. My wife would die if she knew I was taking you in here, so we're gonna try and just keep it cool. So yeah, I know it's dark, but we just got them in this cardboard box here. They dried for about 2 weeks in the shade, and we just brushed them off as well. Clearly not good enough, but we brushed them off and they're gonna finish out in there. And if we don't put them inside of under our bed, they'll just live in there until we go through them all. Still hadn't eaten one though. Still. Sad. I don't know what I'm waiting for. It's one of those things, you know, once you start dipping into them, you're like, it's almost gone. And then I get sad. All right, here we go. No. Yeah, that's exactly what we do. We just can them. We just can them and eat them for sauces. I mean, my wife eats them and stuff like that, and I've gotten to where I'm gonna try more. And I think this year we're gonna try and do a taste test. My wife, who loves tomatoes, and myself, who doesn't. You know, I live in the South, and a big thing is tomato sandwiches, and I just can't get to it. But I want to eat a tomato sandwich. I want to enjoy it. I hope that makes sense. Like, I look at people and they enjoy them, and I'm like, man, I would love to have one. So this year I'm gonna do my best, and we should get our first tomato today or tomorrow if I get out there and look. All right. Let's get a perfect 2 cans out of this. All right, topping it off. Using the sterilization water to top it off. No worries about that. One thing that I always think about when I do this is, like, you go through a lot of water when we eat and when we can and stuff like that. But imagine what, like, the big factories do and stuff that do all the canning and whatnot. It's got to be crazy. I bet they have a lot of waste. Now the question is,